The tower overlooking Greenside Cemetery in Alloa in Clackmannanshire, with the remains of a gable wall attached, is all that's left of the old church, dedicated to St Mungo, the patron saint of Glasgow. His statue once stood in a recess. A chapel was established at the site around 1401, part of the Church of Clackmannan, but was replaced in the later 15th century by the Erskine family. It's thought part of the original chapel's eastern gable was incorporated into Old St Mungo's, known as the Old Kirk. In 1645, at the time of the Reverend John Craigengelt, and again in 1685, the church was repaired, then extended due to the expanding congregation. It was during this latter phase of the works that St Mungo appeared, a commission by the Archbishop of St Andrews, Arthur Rose. There was also a statue of Moses taking off his shoes in front of the burning bush, but when the site was abandoned in the 19th century, it was destroyed. Those involved in its works between 1680 and 1683 were Master Masons Tobias Beauchamp, John Buchanan and Pat Main, with Beauchamp credited with the design and construction of the tower. The bottom of the tower was built from rubble, but further up was constructed of ashlar. The bell-shaped roof was repaired to keep the structure dry. As for the bell itself, by 1668 it had cracked, so a new one was ordered from Rotterdam. In July 1818, it was recast by John Francis Erskine, 7th Earl of Mar. However, a new bell was purchased from Mears of London 8 years later. The steeple also housed a clock at one stage, made by Alloa clockmaker James Miller. It's said that if he ever passed it with friends as it struck midnight, he would say, "There she sings her Maker's praise." By the time it was completed, the church measured around 65 feet in length and 42 feet wide, having originally measured 47 feet by 30 feet, with the pulpit standing at the middle at the north wall. Inside, the Mar aisle took up part of the east end and was for the exclusive use of the family, as was the Mar gallery. On the south was the sailors' loft. There were two other lofts, the Tullibody and Campus loft and the common gallery for the trades and miners, which were situated at the west end. As time went on, a second tier was built here. There was no proper seating, so parishioners brought stools for sitting through the long sermons of the local ministers. Like other churches of the time, it had a court in the form of a kirk session, with those seen as sinners dealt with by them. Their misdemeanour would be made public, and they would be forced to stand in front of the congregation as the minister tore into them. Drinking alcohol had a different punishment, however. Those caught were locked up before kneeling before the kirk session to recite their repentance. As for adulterers, they were told to wear the sackcloth and sit on the stool of repentance in front of the congregation. In 1658, at the height of the witch hunts, the church witnessed the questioning of Margaret Duchel, who was accused of sorcery. Eventually, and no doubt following the cruel tactics of her interrogators, she confessed to have been in the service of the devil for 20 years. In August 1750, Sir Ralph Abercrombie of Tullibody appointed his former tutor, James Syme as Kirk minister, but this appointment proved unpopular. By 1815, the congregation had swelled to 900, but the church was too small to house them all. It was also now in need of general repair, as parts of it were deemed dangerous, so many of the sermons were held outside for safety. It was around then the decision was taken to abandon the old church. On Sunday, 18th June 1815, the congregation was led by the minister, James Maxton's wife, Jean, to the Reverend William Fraser's West Church, as the sermon was outside and word got round, rain was on the way. A year later, Edinburgh architect James Gillespie Graham was appointed to design a new church to be built in Bedford Place, on land donated by the Erskine family. Work on the new St Mungo's began in 1817, and it opened in 1819. Some stone from the old church was used during its construction, leaving just the western gable end and the tower standing, with the rest being sold at auction on 11th June 1817. The Mar and Kelly Mausoleum was also designed and executed by Gillespie Graham, and sits on the site of the former Mar Aisle. Its Gothic style makes it one of the most notable sites in Greenside Cemetery. Inside are tablets dating from 1572 and 1582. In addition, there are 2 Rococo cartouche monuments dating from 1709. It's interesting to note that a small window was inserted into the old Kirk at the time of the resurrectionists, so a guard could watch over the dead. It's a scheduled monument, noting its national importance. If you enjoyed this episode of Scotland's History, please like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, thank you for watching.